Hello, Jude. Hey, Jude, don't make it bad. Take a sad song and make it better. How are you doing? Hey, Marlena, good to see you. Okay, so we're going to jump right into this thing because frankly, I don't have much time. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. I touched on last night, I did a video, I made it members only. But I talked about how crazy the missing Sebastian Rogers has made some creators, that some creators are acting in ways that seem very confusing and out of touch. And I know some of these creators, and this doesn't seem consistent with their normal behavior, right? And so I thought I would talk a little bit more about it in terms of not just pointing out, hey, this is crazy behavior. You're being really irrational. These are illogical things that you are saying and doing. I thought about today that I would show you why it is that I think that people are being unhinged. And I don't think it has anything to do with Sebastian Rogers himself or Seth. I think it 100% has to do with the Hunger Games mentality here on YouTube, that you have creators that develop a hate or dislike for another creator, and in their quest to sort of fight it out and try to be the victor, you're just reduced to acting crazy, and you should quit. If you like true crime, then cover true crime cases. They're mysterious and they're curious and they're unusual. They're interesting to discuss. But stop with the CRAMA. The CRAMA has become offensive, and the subscribers are leaving because they don't want to listen to the nonsense, the insanity of these creators screaming and yelling back and forth across the aisle at one another and just saying and doing things in real life. This is not even just online stuff anymore. I mean, it's crazy what people are doing, the way they're acting. And so I thought that for my little short amount of time that I have today, I thought I'd just give you an episode that you could see why I feel so confident saying people are being crazy. You're being crazy. There's no way in hell that you act like this in your own real life. That I don't believe it, because it sounds nuts. So let me be quiet now. I'm going to play a clip from a channel that is called Granny's Watching. And I want you to listen to the things that she's saying. And she's not yelling at other people. Well, she's kind of yelly, but she's upset. She's mad. But listen to what she's saying others have done. It's nuts. It's crazy.
It's all true. I get it, Kels. I don't know what to say. That Julie is an absolute maniac. An absolute freaking maniac.
Now, it's not lost on me that there's happy, lighthearted Christmas music playing in the background, and you're about to hear Granny's Watching go to town in anger. It's kind of effective, you know what I mean, in a Hollywood type setting.
I mean, that lady is seriously so unhinged that I'm concerned for anybody who's dependent on her for care. The comments was like a cult. I don't know. I just know they're lying. Hey, Diana, thank you for being a member for 6 months. They are not showing the entire situation. It's a simple lie. And here's my question for all of you. Do we have to take online abuse because people in the real world are actual abusers? I don't think so. I don't think so. And I can prove everything. I can prove that some of the people in the comment section, how about this? Imagine this. You find out somebody's an actual abuser, right? DV on the record. 2 previous partners have already came out and stated this person is an abuser.
Okay, now I want to be very clear here. She's not just talking about one creator. There's a multitude of subscribers and creators that she's about to go after. It's not who is she talking about. Don't worry about who she's talking about. Listen to the stories. People acting insane. Listen to the stories. It's unbelievable.
A particular YouTuber, to seek revenge, not out of genuine concern, publicly uploads a private conversation she's had with one of the survivors as a gotcha moment. And if that wasn't bad enough, the other survivor of this man's abuse goes on to pass away rather young from health conditions. She dies. Okay, she dies.
Okay, right there at this one. And remember, I started this in the middle of this crazy dark storytelling. Okay, right there, this woman, Granny's watching, she's already talked about like 3 people and seems to know like the most intimate, dark, sad, horrific details of their lives. And I'm saying to myself, on the surface, of course, why are you talking about these people if they're victims of domestic violence? Is it really appropriate to talk about it on your channel? But then there's a layer beneath the surface, and that's what I'm really interested in. And that layer beneath the surface is, who the hell are these people going live or going online and telling complete strangers about how they're getting beat up, or the victim or the ex-wife died, or why are you spreading your real life trauma among people you don't know, and you're trusting them to keep your secrets? Does that feel particularly rational? If you don't tell people things about yourself, then they don't have it to use as a weapon.
The abuser goes live and starts saying things like, oh, well, she was a drug addict and all these horrible things disparaging her name. And this other creator then digs into this woman's personal life to make a video celebrating her, but as a one-up. I have where I even called it out. And I said, you people are now using the death of a woman to one-up each other. My own mod, I called her out. Hey, Jason. So these people just aren't being honest, man. They're just not being honest. They're not at all being honest about it. That woman and her partner were far from innocent. They've done a lot of horrible things to a lot of horrible people, including myself. And I mean horrible. Many of the people that are now pretending to have sympathy or show concern were some of the people that were also calling them out, and if not, in a worse way. This person then went on to get arrested again for DV, and they lied.
Oh my God. What? Okay, I've lost count how many times someone's been arrested, but I'm even more intrigued by Granny's watching. How do you know they lied? You don't know them. You say, oh, well, they got arrested yet again in their long list of domestic violence arrests, but they lied. How do you know? Like, only thing you know is what they tell you, unless these are your real life friends. And if they're your real life friends, then why the hell are you spreading their business all over social media? It's like a game of tennis, y'all, or ping pong. You know, the ball's in your court, you hit it, and then it bounces in the other court. And then the other person has to hit it back. And that's what you guys are doing with hurtful, traumatic life experiences. You are choosing to come online and reveal terrible, horrible, hurtful things in your life. And then creators like Granny's Watching or others take those painful, horrible experiences and weaponize them and then knock the ball back in your court. You know what happens if you just stand back and watch the ball fly right past you? The game is over. Subscribers win. Quit telling your secrets. Stop weaponizing other people's trauma and trying to turn it into a game. And if someone does take your trauma and turn it into a game, just watch the ball go right by. You don't have to respond.
The abusive guy's ex. Hey, Billy. They lied about what was going on at the court hearing. And this time they literally had the nerve to lie on me. So, of course, I'm going to defend myself. I mean, it's just, and the fact that this is all being done, knowing that this man was just arrested again for abusing his.
Okay, I don't even know what she's talking about, y'all. Okay, I get so bored with all this nonsense. I have no idea who she's talking about. But what she said that I want to comment on is this. She said, "Oh, well, I have the right to defend myself." Oh, okay, Granny's Watching. Defend yourself against what? To whom? Do you really feel like these people have anything to do with your life whatsoever? Why don't you just start making content that is interesting? Because right now, all you're getting is you're just getting the CRAMA views, the borderline wars. That's what you're getting. People are going, "Oh, let's go over and see if who is screeching at whom. Let's go see if they're name calling or they're cussing anyone out." Do you know that may work like initially to get people's attention? But how long does it take before your ears become weary? Like the sound of women screaming and angry or crying and angry, it's tiresome. It makes people feel bad. Well, healthy people, it makes them feel bad and they're not going to stick around to listen. So you may have inflated numbers. You may have a lot of people come and check in and watch. But if you're just doing normal, regular content, they're just going to move on. They're not going to stick around. They came for the CRAMA. And in the meantime, there's people that really want to talk about the various cases and such. And they're weary of this. And I know because I'm one of them. If I've had a really long, bad day, and I just kind of want to just like zone out and not think. And then I'm trying to go and find a channel that's discussing facts or information about a case. That helps me relax. I don't want to go and be around trauma all day and then come in and listen to it when I'm off. So there's a lot of us that are very frustrated by what's happening.
His partner. And these people are going to bring her trauma to the forefront to get at me. That right there should tell you more about who these people are than anything else. You are willing to weaponize a woman and her actual DV situation to think you have one up on me. You should be ashamed.
That seems like a lot of assumption. And to be fair, I don't know a lot of all the details related to all of this, but it seems like there's an awful lot of mind reading going on. I would think that a woman who had experienced domestic violence multiple times, it sounds like, because her husband was arrested multiple times. Well, are you trying to say here that that person who is dealing with the real impact, complex trauma, true domestic violence, are you saying that they hate you so much that they're willing to lie and use their trauma as a sword to hurt you? Because that just sounds completely irrational. That isn't real. Like people don't operate like that. If you are the victim of domestic violence, if you have been traumatized, you don't think, aha, I'll use this to get back at that nobody online so that I can make her feel bad. Why would you have anything to do with that woman's life? She, as the victim of domestic violence, why would you matter to her at all that she would be willing to use this horrific event in her life to just hurt you? That seems like you may be trying to elevate yourself a little bit. It seems inaccurate. It doesn't match with human nature. And frankly, I can't imagine a scenario where I would ever think to myself, oh, well, they're just trying to hurt me and they're using their own domestic violence to attack me. Do you know the level of arrogance that would take for me to believe that someone else would take their nightmare and get excited because they could use their own nightmare to lash out and hurt me? No way. I'm not important enough to anyone online to ever have someone think, oh, I'll get her, I'll use my trauma. No, please. Nobody cares enough about me or anyone else online to take their domestic violence nightmare and weaponize it so they can win the CRAMA wars. That's just not real.
Ashamed of yourself, honestly. Misrepresented all of that. You even put in a clip where I literally say, like, I'm sorry she had to go through that. But, you guys are the piece of shit you are. Dig up shit from 3 years ago. Try to make me look as horrible as you can. And in the meantime, you get to hide behind your anonymity and not speak a singular word so nobody can ever judge you. I got more than enough messages, texts, everything. So I'll just put together a video. And when I do, you guys will understand better. And she met him online. Yeah. And he had 2 previous victims. Hey, going solo. That's the problem. They weren't there. They weren't there for it. And they are taking I mean, let's not forget, this is also the man that Angela claims led her to the hospital, right? Because of his online abuse. But yeah, sure. They're victims.
Is it just me, or does this seem nuts? The whole story is just disjointed and nonsensical, and it's just like this domestic violence. I mean, if you're virtue signaling, are you sure that you should be weaponizing another woman's victim status as a DV survivor? I don't know how that fits with your image that you have worked really hard to put out there. It doesn't seem to fit. And yet you seem to know so much about whoever this is. I have no idea who it is you're talking about. But again, why in the hell would anybody bring their own domestic violence to YouTube and just start spreading it around? Now, you heard what she said. She said that she has plenty of texts and messages that she's going to put them all together and give it to you guys. That's right. She's going to take the private messages of a domestic violence survivor, and she's going to use it to make content so that you guys can be entertained. What is wrong with this picture?
Granny's the big bad wolf. Okay.
Yeah, well, this is pretty shocking.
Newer subs there are just by into the story without facts, because the ones who were around back then immediately start rolling their eyes reading that. Right. Basically, somebody took a situation from 3 years ago and they took snippets of particular situations and they uploaded it all together out of context, out of timeline, to make it appear like I used a woman's DV situation to go at her. But that is...
Did you? I mean, you seem to know a lot. It's kind of weird how much of someone's personal life you claim to know. And again, why would a domestic violence survivor share all of that with you in trust? And for God's sake, why the hell are you gonna collect it all and make a video and put it out to the subscribers? Why? So you can be the ultimate bitch queen? So you can be the ultimate winner of Jackass of the Year award? Really? Are you sure that's what you want to be? Are you sure that is what you want to be remembered by, as the single most hurtful, obnoxious, horrible woman on YouTube in CRAMA? Why would you do that? Why don't you just leave these people alone? I don't even know who they are. Leave them in peace. Just start making content on something that you're interested in. Why are you hell-bent to destroy victims of domestic violence? So weird to me.
So far from the truth. It's just simply not true. And they're trying to make it like this all like actually happened, right? Like, it's gross. These people are fucking gross. And again, they're doing it in the guise of caring about this woman and her DV. And I can assure you, I have more than enough proof to prove that it's simply just not what they're saying. It's not the way it went. Then you got this...
What are you going to do? You're going to correct a timeline? Are you going to correct who said something or who didn't say something? Or are you going to prove them right by putting all the private text messages out there, revealing that you're exactly what they're accusing you of being? Granny's watching. Does that make any sense at all?
Other weirdo saying, Granny used my suicide attempts against me. No, you used your alleged suicide attempts against others.
Okay, and now the omniscient, all-knowing, all-seeing Granny is now telling you that people's suicide attempts may or may not have been real. This is unhealthy. This is beyond the pale. I don't know what has triggered you to a point that you think you sit in a position on a high throne, that you get to make determinations about other people's status as domestic violence survivors, or that someone's suicide may or may not have been real, or that someone would try to commit suicide all just because they needed to get you. Why do you think you are that important to anyone's life? This is crazy. And so what you're going to do, supposedly to fix the problem, is you're going to be exactly the horrible person that they're accusing you of being. Is that right? Do I understand this correctly?
I am tired of these people shielding themselves with these sensitive topics to spare themselves criticism, Because if you dare touch on it, well, there you are. You're shaming. No, you don't get to put that shit on people on the internet and expect them not to respond. Again, I'm not responsible for anybody's offline life. I'm not. And you're not going to get away with putting that type of shit on me and thinking I'm not going to respond to it. So that's actually what was happening. Oh, I know I'm spot on. I lived through the bullshit of these people for years. And shame on all of you.
And see, I think that is super interesting too. I think it's interesting that you've got all of this deep emotional pain that's being weaponized and used back and forth against each other. And now Granny Watching tells us they've been doing this for literal years. Think about that. I'm curious because we're a really good group of people here, right? Like we have a good time here. We don't do all of this crazy screaming and yelling and carrying on. Would you be willing to give up this much of your mental health to scream and yell just to get at Granny? Or do you not care? Like literally not care? And I'm not even sure I would even be making this video if it weren't Christmas. There was something about the music playing in the background that I just thought enough is enough. This is so obnoxious. And I kind of make jokes about it and I kind of laugh offhandedly and say, oh, well, these are the borderline wars, right? Bunch of angry, unfulfilled, disenfranchised women fighting it out online like it has any point. Like, what do you expect you're going to win, Granny's Watching? Like, if you go ahead and you do this, you gather up your private messages and text messages that I guess were originally from one of your friends. And then you're going to put it all out there for everyone to see so that you get the opportunity to stand with your fist in the air and say, I am right. What do you win? Like literally, what do you win? Nothing. Not a damn thing. Nothing. There's nothing to win because it doesn't matter, Granny. It doesn't make a difference. None of this. All of you guys screaming and yelling at each other, trying to outdo each other in the obnoxious, horrible behavior, the way you treat each other. Nobody wins anything because it simply doesn't matter in the real world. It doesn't matter. And the only thing it matters in terms of online in the streets of YouTube is that you have some people who they are attracted to trauma because of their own trauma. So they're going to sit around and listen to you guys scream and cry and yell, but that's all you're going to get. Most people go into the channel and when they hear all of this crazy nonsense, they simply leave and they go in search of a video that's actually saying something. Not all of this. And I hate to say it, but it's Christmas. You would think that at Christmas, you could just control yourself. You would think at Christmas that you would say to yourself, now, do I want to respond to this by getting online and screaming like a banshee and presenting myself as an unhinged, crazy woman online, or should I take a walk? Maybe I should go for a 30-minute walk around the block, and when I get back, then maybe I'll read a book. You win nothing by destroying other human beings. It doesn't make you look better, Granny's Watching, because you are going to do a monstrous thing just so you can declare yourself as right. You'll be right, and you'll be a monster. So congratulations, you win the trophy for Troll Bitch of the Year.
You for allowing the literal gutter to climb up here over a hate bonded. You got a woman who made up that a child was gangbanged during vacation.
Wow. That's what we do on my family vacations. How about you? I don't even want to think about the type of reprobate whose brain would even think up something like this. And it is true that there are news stories, there are unfortunately children who are trafficked, and it happens at Disney World and other family friendly places. And it is a crime. It is an act against God when you consume a child's soul. But you want to know what it is not, Granny's watching? It's not supposed to be content for the bitch wars. I would think if domestic violence is not sacred, if your own nonsense fighting it out 3 years ago, if that was not sacred, I would think at the very least, if you are going to talk about a little kid who is trafficked and victimized and assaulted in a way that it is a crime against God, I would think you would at least want to do it with dignity rather than to use it in the bitch wars on YouTube.
During a family-friendly vacation. You got a woman who has docs, not just subscribers, but creators as well. And you people have no idea what you're inviting in, and good on you. I hope you do with open arms. Trust them with messages too. It'll be fucking fantastic for you.
Just like you said, you're going to take your messages, you're going to take your text, you're going to put them all together, and then you're going to use them to devastate a domestic violence survivor. So why are you now telling people not to trust someone else because they're going to hurt them with their own messages? You're doing it. Like you've just said it at the beginning of this little clip that I'm playing. You're talking out of both sides of your mouth. And the only thing that is driving this is your anger. You're angry and you want other people to be hurt. And you don't care what monstrous thing you have to do in order to hurt others. Maybe you could try a healthy approach. And the healthy approach would be turn this around. Stop the violence. Turn your back on this nonsense and go for a walk. Go to the mall, buy some presents, wrap some gifts, turn some Christmas music on, and turn the computer off. There's nothing that says you need to respond to this. Nothing comes of it. There is no good that comes of it. But wait, she's got some great plans.
Shame on all of you. A woman whose big break-in video was my parents' property taxes. And you people are just okay with that type of shit?
I'm clearly not okay with that type of what, because I'm finally having a temper tantrum. No, you should not do background checks on people at all. Other than if you're going to be selling them a house or your daughter's going on a date with them. But to do a background check on a person and then take whatever of life's challenges is on that background check and turn it into fodder for the troll bitch awards on YouTube makes it's wrong. It is absolutely wrong. I had background checks run on me. It's not okay. I don't have anything to hide. I don't have anything. I haven't been to jail. I haven't done any of those things, but it's still a creepy feeling. Like it's a weird, creepy feeling that someone would be interested in hate you enough that they would be willing to pay money to run a background check on you. It's just weird. It's weird that these people, like Granny's watching, wants to do these background checks and find out the names of your children. Why do you care? Like what? There is another creator over there, and I often say I think Granny's watching looks like her daughter. I think she looks like her daughter, and I think she acts like her daughter. The words that come out of her mouth are nearly exactly what that other creator says and does. I mean, it's kind of freaky. This other creator sat over there and gave the initial of my children on one of her stupid lives, like I was going to be afraid. No, I'm proud of my kids. My kids have been really successful. But the reason you were doing the initials of my children is because you were trying to intimidate me and threaten me. You were trying to use violence to control me. You were, in essence, engaging in criminal activity.
I know, B10, but what bothers me about it is that she's fucking lying. That's what's infuriating. You were grossly misrepresenting the situation to try to demonize me, but that's not how the situation went down. That's all right. That's all right. Do your thing. But I'll tell you what, you people think you're really anonymous. You are surely mistaken. If you continue to spread false information about me, I will begin spreading factual information about you.
And mic drop. Those of you that remember the creator who was always saying that YouTube should require people to have YouTube accounts where they use their own name so they wouldn't be anonymous. Remember that? So that if you said or did something that she didn't like, she could come after you in the real world. You remember that? Isn't it strange that the woman that I think is this woman's mother, Granny Watching mother, actually has said exactly what we just heard Granny's Watching say? You are not anonymous. Anyone can find you, and I'm about to start putting your information out there to punish you. Wow. Go. You know what? It is obnoxious. Oh, yeah. And Granny Watching, to threaten people like this, to say that you're going to go real life, that you're going to get their information, you're going to hurt them. Guess what? It's against terms of service. If every single person goes and reports her channel for threats of violence against other creators, her channel won't be around there very long. But we don't do that kind of thing. This is enough. This is the most bizarre, crazy thing. I think this is the craziest I've ever seen it on YouTube. Truly. And try to remember, I have not been involved in this. I hadn't even hardly been online. And to come back and want to get caught up on Sebastian Rogers' case and all that. And now I'm trying to listen to these channels, and it's just like, what the hell are all you guys on? Like, what are y'all doing? Why are you doing crazy things? Why in the world would anyone dox a bus stop for where a creator's child, an 8-year-old child, gets on and off a bus? Who does that? Why do you want an 8-year-old little kid to get hurt? It is bonkers. This is absolutely unacceptable. Stop. Here's what you don't realize. People that are emotionally stunted, people that for whatever reason, they simply have stopped in the development of their emotional maturity. They got stuck somewhere along the way. Some trauma happened to them when they're 8 years old. They forever emotionally remain 8 years old. Or some trauma happens to you when you're 15 years old and you never progress past 15 emotionally. Those people lack coping skills. They do not have the understanding. They don't believe, right, that they have control over their emotions. Their personal experience is that their emotions will overwhelm them and destroy them. That if they have an emotion, they must act upon it. And that is simply false. In fact, did you know that just because you have an emotion, it doesn't mean it's real? I can prove it. Go to Jurassic Park, the movie, and sit there and watch the Tyrannosaurus Rex about to bite your head off. And notice that your heart's pounding a little bit faster and you're feeling a little bit nervous. Maybe you giggle with excitement. You're feeling fear. You're feeling fear because your brain, your imagination is saying, oh my God, we're about to be eaten by a giant Tyrannosaurus Rex. Is it real? Are you really about to die? Or is your brain generating an emotion based on fantasy? We all do it. I watch a Matthew McConaughey movie and I go, oh, hubba, hubba, there's my honey. There's my hubby. Is it real? No, of course not. Just because you have an emotion, it doesn't mean it's real. You have control over the emotions that your brain generates. You want to know how? Well, it came from your brain. If you don't like how you're feeling, change what you're thinking about. That's a novel idea, isn't it? If you're sitting around, Granny's watching, and you're thinking about all these domestic violence victims and little children being trafficked and all these other things that you feel like it is your right to gossip about and to weaponize against other people. Oh yeah, did I forget about the suicide that someone tried just to hurt you? If you're sitting around thinking about those things and you're letting your emotions, your imagination, build them into Hollywood-esque movie scripts, you are going to be triggered, GW. If you're sitting around believing this nonsense that someone is willing to be in a deep, desperate point in their life where they think about ending it, but then you in your little mind, you say, oh, well, she only did that because she wanted to hurt me. She only did that because she wanted to get back at me. If you're actually telling yourself that this is real, you're going to be upset. You're going to be angry and you're going to be hurt. And you may even be inspired to revenge. Well, you know what the Bible says about revenge. If you're coming for revenge, you better dig 2 graves. Because revenge never works out the way your little brain is telling you it's going to work out. I'm going to get her. I'm going to put her in her place. I'm going to stick it to her and then she'll be sorry. That is not the way revenge really works. With revenge, you both lose. You both end up in a dark, horrible place. Each of you. It is the mind of a 5-year-old who seeks revenge. But a grown-ass woman who has a life that she's proud of and relationships that build her up and make her feel good, that woman has the ability to go, I don't think this is healthy. I'm not sure this is okay that this poor woman tried to harm herself, and I hope she gets well soon. Now let me turn my attention to taking my walk, or let me turn my attention to going Christmas shopping, or let me go in the house and make some bread for my old mom and dad. A grown adult person does not have to act on every single feeling or emotion they have. That is your choice that you are choosing to escalate. That is you are making a choice for that nonsense. And if you had real friends, well, I mean, you do have real friends, but your real friends will say to you, just let it go. It's not that important. Don't damage your online reputation any further by engaging in this nonsense. That's not good for you, GW. Let's go and go shopping together. Let's go watch a movie together. Why don't you write a book about your online experiences? Lots of people would like to read it. Many people now have notable, credible people have established YouTube channels, and they're dealing with the frustrations of trolls. They would absolutely buy a book written by a person with firsthand knowledge of the struggles that we experience here online. There's so many good things that you could do with this frustration that is easily heard in your video. But to turn around like some little 5-year-old and whap somebody over the head with a toy truck, how does that benefit you at all? And I know what this is going to be. This is going to be oh, why do I have to turn my back on them? Why do I have to pretend that they didn't say these things about me? I have a right to defend myself. Oh, defend yourself against what? No one's taking anything from you. There's nothing to take from you, GW, because it isn't real. These people that get on YouTube or Twitter or wherever, we're a collection of ideas, but you're not in their life, and you certainly don't have the right to try and destroy somebody's child. You don't have that right. It doesn't matter how upset you are, because at the end of the day, even if you are triumphant, GW, even if you collect all the messages, all the text, you put them all together into the most hurtful, aggressive, horrible video possible, and you come out the victor, you're the winner. In 2 days, you're going to be sitting around going, gosh, why isn't anybody talking to me? Like, what happened? Where are they at? Didn't they see that I proved that I was right? Where's the adoration for me being right? Well, here's the problem. We don't like to see other people get destroyed, even if it's people we don't like. People don't like that. It makes you feel bad. It's scary. People have empathy, and they think about that person who's just been destroyed, and they think, gosh, that was really way, way too much. That was really aggressive. That was not okay. So you go ahead on this path that you're on of complete self-destruction. It is definitely a more intelligent, a more mature person who's willing to take a deep breath and say, you know what? I'm going to let that ping pong ball just go right on by. I'm not even going to try to pop it off into the other court. Just going to let it go. I want this to end. Your channel, you are building a great channel. Why don't you take advantage of that and use it to make some money? I know you're getting a little small check for your AdSense and all that. I get all that. I mean, the rate you're going, it's not going to be long. People are going to start reporting your videos. You're going to lose your channel. But right now, you've got a great collection of people. They want to hear from you. They like you. They find you interesting. Why don't you use that to do something? Build something, not tear people down. Build something up. Do something worthwhile. You now have a platform. You have the ability for messaging. But you're squandering it, GW. Why would you do that? All right. I've said what I wanted to say. Yeah, little Miss Sharon, agree. Do not engage in crazy. And yet here I am engaging, right? I hate that I'm doing it. However, when I listen, I mean, let's just recap, okay? Let's just recap for a moment. We've got someone who's had many episodes of domestic violence. This person is a domestic violence survivor, a victim, a survivor. That person, according to GW, that person used their status as victim to attack GW. That's just stupid. It's just stupid. It's crazy. It's not real. You also have someone who attempted to harm themselves to end it all. And according to GW, that was done to hurt GW. Wrong, stupid, didn't happen that way. That is not how it works. But in her mind, in her imagination, she changed it around to say, well, the only reason that she did that was to try and turn people against me. Come on, GW, stop. Stop that. It's just nonsense. You're a grown ass woman. Don't fall for that. That is silly. Stop. You people like you. They want to listen to you. But you can talk about anything you want to talk about. You have the freedom to talk about anything that interests you. Are you really, is it true that this is as far as your brain goes? That the only thing that interests you is to scream and yell at other women, to engage in the bitch wars of YouTube? Is that really what interests you? I don't think so, because you and I have had conversations where it wasn't like drama and all that kind of mess. And you're smart. You're interesting to listen to. Why are you wasting your platform on attacking people? Why do they matter? Do you know how many people I could attack? You know how many people dislike me? I get messages all the time. I'm not going to engage. It's boring. And whether or not you've recognized it, there are some crazy people on YouTube. I don't want to talk to them. I don't have any interest in their pettiness. Just don't respond. You block them and you make it so they can't leave any messages on your channel. And then you forget about them, forget about their existence. It doesn't matter what they say about you. Who cares? You may have hitched your wagon to the wrong horse or oxen. You may want to reevaluate your little friend group, because there are, in fact, people that have been on YouTube for years who have a demonstrated history of betrayal, immoral, unethical, nutty behavior. You may want to be careful. But all that aside, I know it is upsetting if somebody says things that are not true, or they manipulate facts to try to make themselves look better. I know it is hard. I know it is frustrating. And I know that you want to scream the reality, the truth from the rooftops. I've been there. But the truth, the reality is, you are not prepared to go combat on YouTube, on a public forum, with someone who has absolutely no limit to what they're willing to do to hurt you in retaliation. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do it to your life. Don't do it to your parents' life. It's not worth it. And here on YouTube, when you leave everybody alone, they leave you alone. Maybe they make little comments, maybe they say things, but who cares at the end of the day? Just people like you. They like your personality. Focus your mind on content and quit focusing on getting revenge, and you will feel better. This has gotten weird. This has gotten so illogical and irrational. I can't even, I can't. It's old. And now it's getting harder and harder to find a channel to go listen to where they're just having an interesting discussion. How many of you guys are exhausted by this nonsense? And what do you win at the end of the day? If you're the most hurtful, if you're the one that can create the greatest level of embarrassment and shame in another person, then you're the winner, right? But come on, what are you really going to win? Nothing. You're just going to come out. People are going to go, yeah, you stuck it to her. You're the biggest bitch of all. Is that really what you wanted to be when you're a little girl? Did you grow up and people said, oh, little girl, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be the biggest bitch troll on YouTube. That is not what you answered. Don't allow your emotions to lead you to bad places. You are in control of your emotions. You should not let your emotions control you. If you don't like the way you're feeling, change what the hell you're thinking about. And if you could stop thinking about getting revenge and start thinking about making a video that is going to be fun or interesting or entertaining, then you will feel better. But the way it is now, you are raging. Every video is more and more unhinged. You deleted videos, and it's your right to delete them. I don't have it. I say you clean your house up, don't you? You throw out the trash at your house. I look at my YouTube channel the same way. If I make a video that I'm not proud of or I'm not happy with, or I think I want to redo it to something better, I have the right to delete it. I'm not going to call anyone a dirty deleter. That's more controlling, manipulative nonsense. You clean your house up, you can clean your YouTube channel up. But when you start deleting videos because you fear retribution, when you start receiving legal notifications that you're being sued or that you got a restraining order against you, it's time to stand back and in the quietness of your mind, ask yourself, is this the path that I want to go down? Ask yourself that. This is not what you want. This is not going to be what you want. You have a platform. You've built a channel that lots of people enjoy. Use it. Build a career off of it. Because this path of destruction is going to result in one thing: destruction. All of it. Remember, if you come for revenge, you better dig 2 holes. All right. I got to go. I got to go to work. I hope you guys have a great afternoon, and I will see you again probably Saturday. Talk to you later. Bye.